Hello, everyone, and welcome to Talk About It Tuesday, this very, very special edition where I have one of my very own best friends joining to share a message that I know is going to be just amazing, inspiring, and spectacular. My name is Tosca Di Matteo, and I'm the founder of Tosca Coaching and Consulting. And I'm just going to pull Aisha on now. Very exciting. Okay, she's. Hello, joiners. Hello, audience. I think it's going to be a good crew today. Hey, Aisha.
Hello.
What's up, my friends? Happy birthday!
Thank you. I'm finally on Talk About It Tuesday with my BFF.
I love it. We have a few folks on already, and I just started to just introduce, but before I hand it over to you to introduce yourself to those who may or may not be familiar, I do this Talk About It Tuesday platform with the intention of helping people in their healing, personal development, growth journeys. And so all the topics that come on the show are in that, with that intention. And bringing in different types of voices, different types of experiences, because I know that like I may not resonate with everybody. And so part of this platform is to bring people on that might be able to touch somebody's heart in a way that they've never been able to access before. So enter Aisha. Aisha, woo! I think first of all, I know I'm going to get emotional on this one. I have to be like wiping my tears. I'm like, shit, I forgot to bring my tissues in. But, obviously, like you are just one of the most important people in my life. And I'm honored to have you on this platform with me because I know you have such amazing messages and depth of experience and just completely unique experiences to anyone in the world as we all do. And I'm just, this topic of leading with empathy it's near and dear to both of our hearts,
Yes.
and so to bring you on and have your perspective on this topic, just it means so much to me. And I think I was just saying to you, I'm like nervous. It's so weird. Like you're my BFF. We talk all the time. I'm like nervous, and I think
I
I'm nervous.
know.
I think I'm nervous because I want to do justice hosting you because I have such deep respect um, for um, for you, period. Just full stop. So, without any further ado, I just want to hand it over to you to introduce yourself, whatever you want to share, your journey, your life, your story, whatever about that that brings you here today. Over to you, Dr. Aisha O'Mally.
Oh, wow. You had to throw the doctor in there. Well, I appreciate it. It makes me sound so stuffy. But as you know, I'm I'm just a down to earth person. I like talking to people. Um, my journey started, through our friendship at School of the Arts, right? And so I've known you that long, and um, I was talented in instrumental music. We're both creatives, right? And so, I like working with my hands. I knit, I crochet, I do all that kind of stuff. And so we go through high school, we play basketball together. Um, we graduate together. I go to Geneseo, you go to RIT. I had my experience at Geneseo, which was a good one. And that's when my health issues started to take place, right? And so I have to tell you that my journey through health and my journey through education um, has brought me to the other side. And now my goal is to help people. My goal is to help people within healthcare, not just the patients, but also the physicians, right? They need our help too. And so as I went through this journey through health and education, I saw what the medical field was lacking, in my opinion, right? It was empathy. And I could not put my finger on it until I started my my doctorate program, where I started learning all these different models and theories driven through health communication and health literacy. And, you know, when I'm talking to my physicians today, I for me in the best way, right? And so in order for me to get empathy from them, I needed to provide them with some empathy and say, okay, this has to be difficult for you, right? I'm not a physician, but I am a researcher, I am a scholar, and I do know the processes within our healthcare system and how jacked and how, you know, backwards it is. And it's driven by money, not by care. And so this idea of empathy started to come to me through my doctorate program. And then slowly it started turning into, okay, you know, I'm watching what's happening around us, right? And I'm watching and I'm fearing for, you know, my dad, I'm fearing for my brother, I'm fearing for my Black African-American male friends, but also for my females. And I'm getting fear for myself. And I'm realizing, wow, this world is crazy. And in the midst of me coming to my own realization of I'm a Black woman in this country, how do I deal with what I deal with day to day? And it was really opening my mind to empathy and grace, right? And so we talked about this a little bit, where in my mind, the way that the model works for me is that if you're able to offer people empathy, you allow them grace. And through that grace that you allow them, they will hopefully look at you and provide you with empathy as well, right? This idea of eye for an eye, you know, cheek for cheek, you know, sword to sword, the battle, the fight, right? It doesn't always have to be bloody. It doesn't always have to be a struggle, right? It can be with grace. It can be with empathy. And so I started to build this platform. And so, you know, now I'm in School of Management, right? I graduated with my doctorate and I teach business communication at University of Buffalo. And I'm working with my students who I'm training them to be effective communicators. And part of that is you have to have empathy. If you want to be in this business world, understand you will work with people who don't look like you, don't sound like you, don't come from the same background, don't have the same perspective, and don't have the same opinions. But the job needs to get done, right? And so you have to find a space within yourself and really get to know yourself so that you are able to allow others empathy and you can work through, right? And so that's me in a nutshell. You know, I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be celebrating 17 years with my heart that I call Coco. It's been an amazing journey. I thank my family. I thank my mom and my dad and my brother, who's no longer with us, but he was also part of that journey. I thank all the rest of my family and my friends because they support me. And if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here, you know, being able to sit here and be grateful and joyous in this occasion. So again, thank you, BFF, for having me on. I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh, you know, I'm already seeing like a part two. I already know we're not even going to be able to get through it all. But, you know, thank you so much for that beautiful pathway, you know, to empathy for you. And I know that it goes even deeper. I mean, you really focused on, you know, the health piece. And I just want to like pause for a second because I want people to just grasp this idea that the people that maybe don't know your whole story that are watching. And oh, by the way, Rosanna from Italy has joined. So thank you for joining from afar.
Hey! We cooked with her at her house in Italy. Amazing. So happy to see you. So glad that you're doing well. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so many familiar faces out here for sure. You got Ashley from your program and
yes. And
Lauren,
Joyce,
yeah,
I see you.
some great friends.
Shagay, yes. I see you all.
but what, I just want to pause because, you know, it's just so profound to me for you to have experienced going through having to get a heart transplant at the age of what, 24?
Mm-hmm.
24?
I was 25, yeah.
Yeah, and right. Um and that this is this part of your journey was where really the empathy really came to the
Yeah.
surface in trying to understand what those who were taking care of you were going through, even
Mm-hmm.
as you were struggling with getting
Yeah.
the proper care at the same time. So that's just I don't know, that's just so incredible, because the other part of, you know, I think your journey into this pathway of empathy
Mm-hmm.
and self-love.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got a phone call. That was so crazy. And empathy being a huge part of that.
Mm-hmm.
And self-love is your journey of loving yourself.
Yes.
So I'd love for you. So there was like the healthcare piece and
Mm-hmm.
journey of how do you put yourself in understanding what your healthcare workers were going through, but
Mm-hmm.
also the process of self-love growing up in a situation that, you know, in worlds and environments that make that so difficult. So I'd love for you to just share a little bit of that part of your empathy journey as well.
Okay, so, you know, growing up as a young little brown girl, right? And having very strong parents. My parents are immigrants. They're from Jamaica. And having a very strong household. They could to instill in me, right, my culture, knowing my culture, who I was, and to be proud of that. But what doesn't happen is when you're in school, your parents aren't with you in school. And, you know, we're in school almost more than we probably see our parents, you know, most of the time. And so my experience in school was I wasn't, you know, Aisha, first generation born in the US with Jamaican parents. I was Aisha, you know, another little dark skinned girl, right? And growing up in America as a dark skinned little girl, brown little girl, is hard. Um, it's taxing on your identity. It is taxing on your soul. It is taxing where, you know, it's amazing that we survive, right? Because you have society who doesn't subscribe to you as a beauty, also doesn't subscribe to you as intelligent, also doesn't subscribe to you as being human. Um, you know, evidence research shows that, you know, young Black kids are aged older. They appear to be older, or people perceive them to be older than they actually are, right? So picture that for a 10-year-old girl, 13-year-old girl, 14-year-old girl, 15-year-old girl, 16-year-old girl, right? As you're growing, I struggled with finding where I fit. And you know what the reality is, especially when you're an immigrant child, sometimes, you know, when your culture doesn't accept you, right? So when I say that, right, you know, if I go to Jamaica, I'm not Jamaican, right? I'm not at all, right? Like, no, go back afar, and you ain't from here, right? And but then when I'm in the classroom, or when I'm in the U.S., right? I also kind of don't fit, because again, this identity of the Black girl isn't always accepted. And so I struggled. And there was some self-love, and that self-love that I did have came from my family, right? They supported me tremendously in that way. However, society takes a toll on you as you're growing up through TV, through media, social media now, right? You don't see yourself represented. You struggle. And I struggled. And I remember I had dreads growing up, right? Because my family is Rasta. And I remember as soon as I turned 18, I cut them off. It's like, I don't want this. I want to be just like everybody else. But what I realized, right, was that was the beauty of me.
Mm.
I'm not everybody else,
Mm.
right? And I remember going away to college, and I told my dad will never let me forget this, right? He says, I remember when you came to me and you said, Dad, I wish I didn't cut my dreads because I look like just another average Black girl walking around the street, right? And he was like, wow, he was moved by that. And, you know, slowly, as we become mature and we have more experiences, and you surround yourself with other women and other people in general that subscribe to you and who you are and your and the differences that you possess that make you that queen that you are, right? As you mature, you say, oh yeah, okay, I know who I am. When I turn 40, I'm gonna be, and you know how I am. Listen, y'all, this is me, you know, live, no chaser. When I turned 40, I gave no fucks. I said, if you don't like me, guess what? Not my problem. Because it's not my problem. That's your problem. I love me. Every part of me. Okay? Self-care Sunday, self-care Saturdays, I do me. So finally growing into an identity that I love has given me power, has given me my voice back, has given me purpose. And so through self-love, I'm able to give myself empathy. I'm able to give myself grace because I can take a step back and look at the journey that I traversed. Look at that, all the struggles that I went through and the non-struggles and the positive times, to look at myself as the woman I am today. If you don't like me, girl, listen, I ain't got time. I ain't going back and forth with y'all. I'm living my best life. Okay? And so when we are able to, as women, look at each other and shine each other's crown, adjust it when we need to adjust it, we're able to be our true selves. And it is beautiful. It is amazing when we finally walk into our truth and we live it and we breathe it. We are unstoppable. And so we have to utilize that power that we have, that superpower that we can possess once we realize who we are and we love ourselves and we're able to show ourselves grace. Man, listen, we're unstoppable. Truly.
I'm just like, preach. Just keep going. Just keep going, Aisha, because I mean, it's beautiful. I feel the confidence, your power, your conviction. And I know it was hard fought, you know, not just because I know you, because I feel that to believe it so deeply, to love yourself so deeply is hard fought.
Oh man, especially as women. Listen, we are tried every day. We are tried every day. Okay. My new anthem song is "Try Jesus, Don't Try Me." Okay. Because I fight. Right? That's a new song from Toby Ngwiwe, I think is his name. But it's so real. Like, we are tried every day. We are living miracles walking. We create bodies. We create babies, right? And yes, we have some help. Yes, we do. Absolutely. Without the men, we cannot create, but we can create. You give us nothing and we create a home. You give us nothing, we create a sense of self. You pour into us, we pour back into you. That's what we do as women. And so the call today is the future is female. So we have to find our power. We have to find our truth as women so that we can provide those who need that empathy and who need that grace so that they can see themselves on that same journey. And then guess what? They pass that same thing down that we've passed on to them. Right? It is a cyclical, just as much as, you know, there's generational hate, there's generational love. Okay? There's generational change. Okay? That can be cyclical as well. And so we have to understand where our power is. And I think that also power comes through empathy. I believe that. Because, see, what we don't understand about empathy is that I don't expect you to sympathize. I don't want you to sympathize, right? Let's understand the difference between empathy and sympathy. Sympathy is, oh, I feel bad for her, but that doesn't help her or him, right? So we say empathy. Why? Empathy, you show compassion. Okay, you're able to understand on a cognitive level what this person may be going through, but you can also respond at an emotional level, right? And say, you know what, that's got to be hard. That's got to be hard, right? All right, and then this is where empathy is important. It's a must.
Oh, I can't hear you, Aisha. Okay.
Empathy.
I can hear you now.
Sorry, I got a call. My bad. Right. But
we are just so popular. I'm just telling you, we just have to like get these calls, you know, off the phone.
I'm like, get on the live. Get on the live. What are you doing? But yeah, so what's important is once you take that empathy, you can cognitively understand, you can feel where they're coming from, then you help them to move past that struggle, that emotional challenge. Okay? That is true empathy. That is ideal empathy. Empathy just doesn't say, oh, I feel you, and you leave it alone. Or oh my gosh, this is so sad. I want to cry. I'm crying with you. And you get over emotional that you can't help that individual. Okay? Compassionate empathy is what is healing. And when you're able to provide that to another and you're helping them to move past that emotional challenge that they're having, excuse me, you then feel your power. You then feel like, I've released you. You don't have to struggle with that, sis. You ain't got to struggle with that no more. We can work through that together. That's empathy, together, right? It's not something where, oh, you know what, so sad for you. Oh, boo-hoo. At least you can have a kid, right? Or, you know, at least you know, right, you're a full woman, right? Or at least you know you can get a job. No, that's not empathy. No, not at all. That's demeaning me. That's demeaning that person. So when we talk about empathy, it's really helping that individual to get past that challenge. And once they get past that challenge, then guess what? They trust you as an ally. You've proven to them that you're capable. You've shown them grace. You've shown them love. And that's what it is. Now, not everybody's going to respond in that way. And it may not work the first time, right? But again, understand this is as much for you as it is for the next person that you're helping, okay? So it may not work that first time around, but when you practice it on somebody else, you're going to see how it benefits them and how much better you can get when you practice it. And it just frees you. It frees you from what other people think. It frees you from how other people feel about you. It's just, you exist to be you. So through empathy, through true compassionate empathy, you are able to find yourself. You are able to allow another person grace, and you're able to show someone else love. And a lot of times, that's all people want, is to be heard and to be loved. Now, I remember you asked me a question when we were talking about this before, and you're like, well, what about those folks that, what about those folks? Those folks that, may not accept you or have such strong opinions against what you believe in. I'm not here to force anyone to be what they don't want to be. Okay? I'm here to enlighten some people. I've been enlightened and I want to pass that on. And so we can have a conversation. Absolutely. I can show you empathy and I can show you grace. Absolutely. I don't give a damn who you are. You can be racist. You have that right to be racist, right? I mean, let's be real. This is what we're talking about, right? Especially in this day and age. Okay, so you want to be racist, okay? Explain to me how that makes you feel. It's not this surface level of understanding, right? It's digging deeper. Empathy allows you to get in and dig deeper into that next person, right? When they trust you, they open up even more. They become vulnerable. And they say, you know what? It's just what I know. It's all I know. It's what my mom taught me. It's what my parents know. I mean, some people don't even get outside of the area where they live and born. So of course, they feel strongly and believe in what they believe in. Of course they do. So I can provide you some empathy for that. Now, if you show me the respect to hear me out, then you might become enlightened. But if you don't, I can still show you empathy and I can still show you grace, and it doesn't take anything away from me. That's the way I look at it. You know, you're not going to reach everybody. I'm not here to reach everybody with my story. I'm not here for that. I'm here to reach the ones that want to change. I'm here to reach the ones who want to step to my side and say, I want to know. I want to learn. And don't get me wrong, as a Black woman, this is a struggle. It took me a while to get to this point where I can be this way. Because, again, as a woman, a Black woman, I am hurt constantly, daily. And to work through that and still be myself and still be able to provide the assistance that one may need, to be able to provide that empathy that I so strongly believe in, I have to make myself vulnerable. Brene Brown talks about it. You have to make yourself vulnerable. If you don't make yourself vulnerable, folks, you ain't living and you ain't loving. You're not living and you're not loving, because being vulnerable is about loving and letting love in, right? Okay. So if you're walking around here with a chip on your shoulder, or you got so much hate built into you, understand you're not living your best life. You're just not. And it's on you to open up and allow people to come in and see your struggle so that they can empathize with you and help, and you can help each other.
Whew, there is like so much richness in there, Aisha, and I just want to honor that we did get a question that came through. I want to ask it to you, which is, could empathy and compassion be based on the situation?
I think so. Absolutely. So, but again, my challenge is we see each other as humans. And so if focusing on the situation allows you to find empathy, then do so. Remind yourself, though, you want to see people as human beings, not as big red hate signs or big black X's in your life. These are human beings. And that's the reason why grace is important. It is, when you can see somebody for their whole self, for who they are, when they take that mask off because you showed them your vulnerability, and then they show you their side, their real self. Oh my God, that's an amazing experience. That's something to revel in, because we don't see everybody's true self. Everybody is, I mean, and let's be real with social media, Jesus, all you see is the good, right? And the pretty and the amazing and the fit and the, and it's like, that's not life. That's not life. Life is ugly. Life is a struggle. Life is messy. But within all of that, life can still be beautiful. And I live it every day. Let me tell you, being a transplant recipient for 17 freaking years is hard, folks. It is hard. Do you know how many physicians I have in my phone? Do you know how many doctor's appointments I have? And I'm 17 years out, right? Everybody's life is a struggle. Everybody has a struggle in life. And you don't have to compare your struggle, right? Now, don't get me wrong. You have to understand context to their struggle, okay? That's important as well. If you really want to dive in and get deep with people, you have to understand the context of their struggle and the depth of that sometimes. But we all have a struggle. And because we all struggle, we all should be able to provide each other with some compassion and some empathy. Okay. You know, I remember being angry with my physicians because I lost hearing in one of my ears. And I was telling them, you need to bring me into the hospital. You have to bring me into the hospital. My ear is swelling. I can feel it. Something is wrong. Something is wrong. And they didn't want to bring me in. They didn't want to bring me in. You know, protocol. It was during the winter time, and transplant recipients in a hospital isn't good because your immune system is low. And I'm like, I understand all that. But listen to me. When I tell you I need to be seen, I need to be seen right now. They didn't want to listen. 3 days passed. Finally, they had me come in. I took some blood work, and before I could turn around and go back home, they said, no, you got to come back to the hospital because your white cell count is 0.01. I'm like, I told y'all. And because of that, I lost hearing in this ear. Talk about angry. Angry. I love to listen to things. I love music. I love to hear things. I appreciate everything about myself. And I remember you know, something I was like, oh, I love music. I love listening to it, you know, and then what I come to realize is, you know what, you know, science, they say is a hard science, but it's not to me. It is different for everybody. And you cannot treat everybody the same. I understand because of the system, that's what ends up happening, right? And I had to let it go. I said, you know what? Thank you, Jesus, that I have one ear that I can hear from. Thank you, Lord. So let's check the silver lining and be grateful still, right? But then I also had to say at a point, I had to think about my physicians and what do they go through, right? How many transplant recipients do they see? And we're not easy patients. We're chronically ill patients. There's chronically something wrong with us, right? So, you know, them managing is hard. And so instead of fighting with my physicians, I have a conversation with them. And I tell them, you know what, I'm disappointed that this actually turned out this way. I had hoped that it would turn out better, but I'm hoping that we can learn, and so that it doesn't happen again. Because again, guess what? It's not just about me. It's about the next transplant recipient that has to go through what I went through. And if I bring it to their attention and I tell them, listen, this doesn't work, then hopefully they'll do better the next time. So that's offering them grace. I had another situation where, and this is why I say I learned empathy and grace through my health journey, is because I remember I had a situation where I was in the hospital. I had to have some procedures done and they knocked me out. And during the procedure, I started to wake up. And this was towards the end, and they were not aware that I was awake. And I started I could hear their conversation, but I couldn't move. And so I started freaking out in my head. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I was like, I need to focus on moving a finger or a pinky or something so that they know that I'm awake. They know that I'm awake. And imagine going through that in your head. And I remember it ended up where they figured it out and they were able to bring me back without any pain. And I bawled my eyes out. Mind you, I was in my 30s. I bawled like a big baby. And I said to my dad, I said, and he's like, what's wrong? Oh my God, because he comes to all my procedures. What's wrong? What's happening? And what happened? What took so long? And I just cried. And I remember he said, okay, I wouldn't let him go. And my brother had came with him. And he said, here, you know, hold your brother. I hugged my brother, wouldn't let him go. And the anesthesiologist came in. And I wanted to rip her a new one. right? And I remember what she said. She said, "Oh, I need her to get up because I'm exhausted. I am so tired." And that's what I was hearing, right? And I saw her, and she was, you know, her eyes were teary, and I was like, but there was a part of me that said, I didn't know what it was then, but the part of me that said grace. And I said, I need you to know that I thought I was going to die. I need you to know that I don't remember how many years in transplant I was. It was over probably like 14 years, maybe even 13 years. I was like, I need you to know that I heard every last word you said. And that made me feel horrible. And that made me feel unprotected and not safe. And I pray that you never do that to anybody else, because it is absolutely terrifying. Do your job. Like, you have one job. Keep me asleep, right? You have one job. Keep me knocked the hell out. And so, you know, she said, I've never, you know, throughout her 20 years, whatever it was, she never had that happen. I said, well, there's always a first time. So, you know, don't be so cocky in your expertise, right? Give yourself grace. Understand you can make mistakes too, right? So those are the experiences I have to go through. But if I didn't give my physicians grace, if I didn't find empathy for them, I'd be dead, because I wouldn't go see anybody. Right? Because you lose trust in people. You lose it. That was the second time. Right? And let me tell you, there's been numerous times where they have made a mistake with me, and it has cost me dearly. But you have to have faith in something. And it's through the grace of God why they're able to keep me alive. It's not them, right? It's a higher power that is working through them. That's another reason why I give them grace. You know, so you don't know why the people that come into your life the way they do, you don't know what their purpose is. Maybe it is for you to learn from them by offering them empathy and grace, right? Maybe that's it. You know, so it's something we need to practice, especially in this business world, because, you know, research show employees are so unhappy and unsatisfied with their work environment, right? They may love their job, but the way that their company runs and the way that their bosses manage, it's just difficult. And, you know, and so this is what I do, you know, with the leading with empathy, is I start to show people within the business world what that looks like, right? Because anytime you say empathy, mushy, mushy with business, people are like, oh no, keep them the farthest away apart, right? And I'm like, no, they go together. Because why? We're emotional beings. Every decision we make is almost based on emotion most of the time. And so, yes, you're at work, but the emotions that you're feeling about what's happening at home, right, impacts your work. So I look at my dad, and he's like an experiment to me, right? I don't know if you're listening, but he's like an experiment to me, because he leads with empathy. I watch the way that he manages his team. And when I tell you, they will do anything for my dad, it's ridiculous, right? And it doesn't matter what he asks them to do. They'll say it just like this: just because it's you, Hubert, just because it's you, right? And that's because he provides them with a level of compassionate empathy. He understands that they have lives and families at home. He knows when his employee's husband is in the hospital. He knows when, you know, her due date is coming up. He knows when, you know, that special birthday is coming up. He buys them cars. He gets them Christmas gifts. He plans baby showers. When you have,
What?
right, like when you have someone in upper management that does that, let me tell you, for his birthday, they did more than me and my mom would do. They got him a cake with his picture on it. They got a gift card to his favorite restaurant. They got him, I mean, they just went all out. And then I watch what they do for the others. Minimal to no recognition. That tells you where leading with empathy, where that takes you. It is within business, we have to understand this idea, move away from this narcissistic, approach to managing people. You are not anybody's parent, right? If you are a leader, if you are a team lead, if you're a manager, CEO, you are there because your people brought you there. And so you owe it to them to show them empathy and grace so that they can maintain you, right? But also you can uplift them. They lifted you. It is time for you to give back and lift to them. Make sure they are heard. Make sure that they are satisfied with being in their work environment. And the thing is that empathy costs you no money. Hello?
Free. Hello. All that impact, but no dollars.
It costs you nothing.
Right.
Go figure. And it makes you feel good too. If we talking about this instant gratification, right? Type of life we live. So it behooves the corporations of this world today, in this day and age, because I'm gonna tell you something, there's no loyalty to any company. That's fair, because there's no company that's loyal to any employees. So that's fair. We're pretty much even keeled there, right? Now, imagine, actually, I have another example. Oh, I can't remember what company it is, but there's another gentleman who, he owns like a business that is through credit cards and they take fees or whatever. And they were having a hard time, and he cut his salary by like 75%. No, he cut his salary by 100%. And he gave raises to all his employees so that everybody could make at I think up to $70,000 a year. It doesn't matter what position you held, $70,000 a year. Okay. All right. His profits doubled or something like that. Right. So that was the first example, right, of some empathy and how it can grow a company. Well, with the pandemic, they hit hard times again. And he said, okay, me and the CEOs are not going to we're going to take a huge pay cut, right? And I think he gave up his salary again. I don't know what the other CFOs, COOs did, but they did a pay cut, and they offered the employees to volunteer to pay to cut their pay. The average was anywhere from 5 to 20% cut that they took in their pay. And guess what? They survived without having to lay off any person, any employee. And I'm just like, yo, that is amazing. That's amazing. And they chose that. They volunteered that. So it is a different way of thinking, folks. It is not this individualistic thought process anymore. It is more of a collective thought process. You are part of a collective. If you don't realize that by now, I don't know what world you're in. Yes, we have that 10% or 1%, right, that has all the money, right? But we give them that money. We give them that power. We do. Understand, we have to take back our power. We do that through showing how to lead properly, by uplifting people where we can. So if you're a manager at 7-Eleven, uplift your employees. Be an empathetic leader. Do it where you can do empathy wherever you are in your life, whatever leading position that you have in your life. Yes, you can do it. Absolutely. And when you uplift people, oh my God, the things they will do for you. That's an ally. And I think We have to start to trust that.
Mm.
Okay. And believe in that. It's not just, okay, this is a tool I can use to better. No, it's not a tool. It is an action you must take if you want to be successful and live your best life. Because the good book, or whoever, or higher power you believe in, all it says is to live your best life. Treat people like you want to be treated, right? It doesn't say be an asshole. Right? It doesn't say that. It says the universe tells us to be better people. We have to choose that. All right, I'm gonna get off my soapbox.
Woo! I mean, yeah, this is going to be on replay. Yeah, I'm so excited for the people that are on this live. I get to feel the energy live. We've got Claire from Ireland. The internationals are showing up. Both of my parents are on.
Oh my gosh!
Like,
okay, we need to point out that my family is Irish. My last name is O'Mally. O''Mally. Thank you. Thank you for joining, Claire. I love you. Just get my room ready, please. I'll be there probably next year after COVID. Yeah.
That's what I was saying to Claire. She was on the show a couple weeks ago, rocking out with beautiful messaging. Oh, Lord. Okay, so there was something that stuck out to me too that I wanted to bring up, which is this idea, right? Like, that we don't have to know what somebody else's, what they experienced in order to tap into the feeling of what they must, right? Because we've all experienced the emotions that life has to offer us.
At a basic level, we can understand what a challenge is for someone.
Right.
Because we've had our own challenges and struggles, right? So you don't have to, and so when you're offering support, you don't say, I understand. Because guess what? Can you really understand? Right? But you can validate that they feel bad because of a challenging moment or challenging situation, because we've all had it. So tap into that energy, right? Tap into that idea that, okay, they're struggling right now. I know what it's like to struggle. It doesn't matter what I'm struggling with. I know I've struggled in my life. I know what it's like to hit rock bottom. Or maybe you don't know. Maybe you don't know. So don't pretend that you do know. But what you can say is, you know what? That's gotta be hard. That's gotta be challenging, because it is, right? So you're validating them and saying it is okay to feel that way. It's absolutely normal to feel this way. It is okay, no matter where they are, at work, at home, wherever it might be, right? You allow them to work through that emotion. Yes, this is challenging. I can see how that's going to be challenging, but how can I help you to move past that? Right? What can I do? That's what you offering yourself. You are offering yourself to that person. Okay, you are my employee, and I always want to do good by you. I always want to make sure my employees have what they need so that they can get the job done. So what is it that I need, that you need from me? Trust me, nobody's going to say I need a Lamborghini. Right? If you are open and you're honest and from your heart, that's what it is. It's about being genuine. It's about not faking the funk. Like, do you really care about people? Do you really care about people? Do you really want to see people suffer? If you do, then I think maybe going to sit on somebody's couch would be helpful.
Yeah.
No, all jokes aside, you really need to get some help. And it's okay, because we all do need to get some help. Should I get help? I think that we need a therapist assigned to us the minute we get out of the womb. The minute we are born, okay? Number 67, they are assigned to Dr. DiMatteo, right? Like, this, because we all need help.
Yeah.
We really do. We all need help to get through challenging times. And so if you are able, if you are capable, in most cases we are, if we're in a leading position, a leadership role, then offer it. And don't worry about if people will take advantage of you. People will. But that's not your purpose. Your purpose is to help. Really help that person. And you'll find that at the end of the day, you know, you can sit back and say, I know I treated everybody with love. And that's what matters. That is really what matters. And I believe in that. I believe, and like I said, this isn't, look, listen, folks, this ain't easy. Okay. This is going to be hard because we are wired to be compassionate to people, but through the different experiences and the hurt and the struggles, we protect it and we cover it and we hoard it. Right. And we're like, no, I don't want to give you my love, right? Like, it's mine. And it's like, no, it's not. Like, open it up. Because when you open and you give, you will receive. You will receive. So, we just gotta, we gotta tap into that internal self and thaw out some of this ice we have, thaw it out and really get down to the nitty gritty. Like, what is it about? Is it about just you? Or is it about the people that, when they talk about you, they're like, oh my gosh. Like, I talk to all of Tosca's friends, like, cause you got to make it through me in order to be cool with her. Right. And so I'm like, and she'll introduce me to these people. And I'm like, I don't know about her. Right. And she, and that's because I'm protective of my love. I'm protective. She is my love. I love Tosca. I'm protective of her. Right. But Tosca's an amazing person. Everybody wants to love her. So I want her to have all that love. Who am I to mise on that? Who am I to hold back from her, hold that back from her? Absolutely not. Love on her. And because if you don't love on people, ain't nobody gonna love on you. And that's what it is. That's facts. So it's going to be challenging. You're going to be hurt. It's part of life. Guess what? How many of you on this call have been hurt? Show a hand, show a heart, however you want to do it. All of us. And guess what? We're on this call. We're breathing. We're standing, right? We made it through. So don't punish yourself for that challenge and don't show yourself love and don't show anybody else love. Reward yourself with the fact that you made it through these challenges and you still have love. It's cliche to say, so cliche now, self-love. Well, honey, that's a verb. That takes work. That takes action. So what are you doing to preserve your love and show yourself love? Let me tell you, it was hard for me to do that. Tosca, remember the struggle I had, right? I pushed. I pushed till I can't push no more. Until I hit a point in my life where I was like, I gotta stop. I can't function this way anymore. My body literally was like, no. And once I realized that, I said, okay, all right. Listen, after this, I'm going to go get me a massage. Yes, I am. I will be double masked up. I will still have on my t-shirt, but I'm going to get that hot stone massage through the t-shirt because guess what? Today is my heart's birthday and I'm going to show her some love. So that's what self-love is, right? It's an action. It's a verb. You do it. You don't just talk about it. You be about it.
Woo! Drop it like it's hot over here.
You're so funny. Oh my God.
That's what I'm saying. Book her early with those freaking engagements because she's not going to be available in too long.
You're so funny. I know. I'm going to listen, folks. I'm building my platform. I'm building my company. So you ready?
I love, first of all, the Liz Kahn was on. She's Kahn Consulting's group. She does strengths training, strengths-based management training.
Strengths training.
She was on the show. She's here showing love. And Coach Kaya says, self-love is a verb. Yes, girl. Yes. And you know, it makes me think of, right, like you talked about what you saw as undesirable. Like, for example, you talked about your dreads when you were younger, and then you realize, oh shit, that was my strength, that was my differentiator.
Yeah, that was my power.
And I think about your PhD journey, and I remember having conversations, right, about trying to, you know, harness your strengths and just honor what your strengths were, and they don't look like everybody else's in the program.
No.
And the problem is, again, in recruitment, whether it's in the education system, whether it's in organizations, right, recruiting the same strengths, you know, the same way of thinking, all that BS. And I think that just contributes to when we have something that's different than the cultural dominant norm or whatever, it creates this infestation of self-doubt.
I'm gonna tell you, PhD will challenge your sanity. You will be insane for a short period of time, and it's part of the process. But that's what they don't tell you. They don't tell you that that's part of the process. You are constantly being challenged in a PhD program. You are constantly told wrong. But see, I'm in a sorority, right? So listen, I know that life. That's why I was able to get through it. I'm like, nah, bump this. Lambda Pi Upsilon Incorporated showed me the way, and I will pursue and persevere. And the fact that I'm a Black woman, the fact that my ancestors, the fact that my parents have put in and instilled all their dreams and hopes. I'm gonna be successful. And so understand that I remember struggling because I remember those moments where I'm like, gosh, I'm just not a strong researcher. I don't feel like it's that imposter syndrome. But what's not recognized is that it's worse for other people who imposter syndrome is deep seated when you are not part of that majority that holds that luxury. You know what I mean? And so it's like, yeah, I'm really not meant to be here. They're gonna figure me out. I'm not smart enough. Nope. And it took me out for, I'd say, for about 2 semesters. It took me a while before I could harness my strengths again. And I remember, I have to send a shout out to I'm gonna have to send them a link to this, to my advisor, Dr. Thomas H. Feely at University of Buffalo in communications, because the reason why I got in that PhD program, because he saw something in me that I didn't see. He saw my potential and wanted to lift my potential. He understood, as a white man, he understood that there wasn't enough of my faces in academia, right? Within communication, there's not enough of my faces. And he understood that there was a need for it. Now, while my strength wasn't in math, right? I mean, I can do math, but it's not my strength. He saw that I had other strengths. And so he said, I just need you to get accepted. Once you get accepted to this program, we can work. I got accepted. He nominated me for a fellowship. I got a fellowship that paid me to go to school. Okay. Right. And if he is not my white savior, but he was a person that showed me compassion, that showed me love in that academic way. And I am forever grateful that he allowed me in and allowed me a space and an opportunity, because it wasn't about, this little Black girl. It was about, this woman it's something there, and I want to help cultivate it because I believe she can be something great. That's how I saw it. That's how it was for me. And so, I give him his props, because if it wasn't for him and seeing that small opportunity, that sliver, I probably wouldn't be sitting here. I'd probably still be at RIT as a
no, you just found another way. I ain't worried about you, okay? I mean, gosh, see, this is why I'm saying we need a part 2, because it's already hitting up on 3. I don't know when your massage appointment is, but I definitely don't want you to miss that.
Absolutely not. I won't let you let me miss it, honey. I've been feeding for this.
I love it. I love it. And I think, gosh, if I'm just trying to like process, you just shared so many amazing messages, so many truths, hard fought self-love, hard fought empathy, and I just feel like at the end of the day, it's like, reach out your goddamn hand
Yes.
to your fellow human
Yes.
that's sitting next to you and see
Yes.
what's possible when you do that. And it's, and it's like, it's not about, it's about saying, I don't know the depths of this person.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Regardless of how they're treating me, like that I'm going to be curious, and I'm going to try to understand so that I can reach out that hand, or else we're going to keep backing away, protecting our heart, not learning anything about anybody, you know?
You did say it is about seeing the possibilities, right? It's about exploring what could happen if I engage with someone who's not like me. What can I learn, right? It's not about changing that person, because that person has to want to change, right? But they can still enlighten you, and you can enlighten them at a certain level. And 20 years down the line, you may see them and they say, you know what? You started me on a journey, and now I'm a different person. Can we imagine how amazing that would be? That's a possibility. Absolutely, it's a possibility. So I think, you know what? Like you said, it's just, first of all, love yourself for who you are. Actively show yourself love. Actively show yourself empathy, and give yourself grace, because you are living, breathing, and walking every day. Not everybody has that opportunity. And when you think like that, be grateful, right? And so once you start to love on yourself, and the problem is, you see, it's so cliche to say it, but until you're able to do it, truly do it, you won't see how amazing it is. So you have to do the work. You have to make it a priority to say, all right, I'm busy as hell, but on Saturday morning, I'm going to do that yoga class. If I can only fit 20 minutes in, I'm going to enjoy those 20 minutes and allow myself to be fully holy in that moment. That's love. Now, once you love yourself, then you are actually building the capability to show others love, no matter who they are, right? And so self-love is first and most important, and then you turn that inside love outside on others. It is amazing to wake up every day and just know you're going to have a good day, because you love who you are, and you going to love the next person, whether they like it or not. I'm going to show you love, and you get love, and you get love, and you get love, right?
Yes.
And you know what? If they don't reciprocate, it's okay, boo. Later. It'll hit you later, right? And so, don't worry about, is it going to hurt? Are they going to play me? Are they going to destroy? Don't worry about that. Because if you've made it this far, I'm 42 years old, y'all. At 25, at 24, I almost died. 11 years later, I almost died a second time. If I can make it through those two challenges on the other side, and I'm still able to love and show the medical community love, because ultimately they did save my life, you can look at your neighbor and be like, you know what, even though you putting snow on my lawn, it's all right. I'm going to let that go. Right? You do you. Because what does it take away from you? Nothing.
Right.
Stop hating on everybody's actions, right? Love it. Kill them with kindness.
Oh, and you know what? There's something I feel compelled to add to that, which is this. I in this arena of self-love and empathy and compassion, and I find so many people like block their own compassion because they do this comparison thing and say, well, I don't have it like they have it, or right? Like, look at the struggles Aisha's been through, and I'm over here upset about something else, you know? And so it's like this, like, there is no finite amount of compassion or empathy. Like, if you give it to yourself, it doesn't mean somebody else doesn't get it.
It is overflowing. Okay? As long as you want it to overflow.
Yeah.
Right? So your cup will runneth over with empathy as long as you supply it. Right? As long as you're giving yourself self-love, right? You filling it up every day with self-love, you can give love. Yes. Right? Yes. So it is endless. If you choose it to be endless, right? Don't make it finite. Why are we making love finite? It doesn't have to be. It's not. Right? And so also what we do to ourselves is we compare to the point of it's detrimental to us. Stop the comparison. You are your own person. You have your own strengths in your beings, but if you continually compare yourself to other people, you will never figure out what your superpower is. And that's the reality. Because you will be always focused on the next person, the next thing. Focus on yourself. Okay? Tasha's struggle is different from my struggle. Right? We come together, we have an amazing friendship. She can actually, in fact, help support me in my struggle, and I can help support her in her struggle. That's me not blocking my love. I pour into her, she pours into me. Right? And so if we can pour into more people, if we can pour into our children, these children that are difficult, who we say are lazy, we're looking only at the negatives that they have. It's like, turn it around. There's always a positive to it. You know, I mean, they're so savvy with technology. Listen, I don't do anything on my own now. I get my TAs. Hey, can you work on my LinkedIn page, please? Can you do my little Instagram live? You know why? Because y'all are good at it. Who am I to hate on that? They come out the womb knowing this stuff. Give them the respect that they are due. You know? So share that love. Share that love and stop the hate. Because when you start to count that empathy, when you start to count how much love you're giving out and not receiving, it is not beneficial. It's never beneficial. Love should not be weighed. Now, I'm not saying let someone walk over your ass. I'm not saying that, right? But I am saying give that person just a little extra that you probably wouldn't have yesterday. See how you feel after that. That's what it is. Try it out and see how it feels. Does it feel like it's uncomfortable? Okay, guess what? If it's uncomfortable, you gotta keep doing it till it gets comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Get out of this comfort, yo. Comfort zone, comfort. This is why there's this generational systematic racism. That's why, because it's comfortable for the people that run it. No, at any time, guess what? I'm unapologetically Black. I will let you know a few things. And hopefully you will learn and you will internalize that. And maybe that might change your behavior in a way that you treat others, right? No matter what race, gender, creed, whatever it is, the way you treat others, right? Because it's not about living a comfortable life. Comfortable life is boring. We gotta be radical. We gotta be exciting, dynamic. Move the world where you can. That's where you start. And so you start here with this person. And then see how you feel day to day. How does it feel to be empathetic? How does it feel to be loving and waking up knowing that, you know what? I can love the world and have the best life and feel amazing. You have no idea. I mean, I've transformed once I learned and recognized what self-love does and what vulnerability does, and showing that vulnerability to others, it changes you, folks. If you want to feel change, practice it. It will change you, and it will free you. It will free you. I mean, this ain't no hocus pocus, snake oil, mumbo jumbo, hippy dippy. It's reality. I'm as real as it's gonna get. I'm as logical as you can freaking be. I'm a researcher, right? I'm a scholar. And I tell you, there are things outside of our control. The universe works in our favor as long as we show the universe that we care and we love on other people and we love ourselves. The universe will bless you with infinite abundance and joy. So that's it for me today, folks.
I love it. Dr. G signed on and said want to pop in to support. Loving all the support, loving all the, what a great way to celebrate and honor Coco, your heart of 17 years.
Yes!
I mean, you want to talk about like not taking life for granted, not taking one moment for granted, to Aisha, you are able to see the light at the end of very dark tunnels, and that is what has gotten you through, in addition to community and support and faith and all that. But your ability to say to yourself, it will get better, you know, that I can get through this, and your belief in that is just such a beautiful quality that just so inspiring. And I know everybody on here today has just shared so much love, so many hearts, and your words of like empathy is all. It is everything. It is so important. And so how can people get in touch with you if they want to continue the conversation or book you for speaking engagements in their organizations? What can they do?
I'm on LinkedIn. And so just, you know, Aisha, I think Aisha K. O'Mally. So Aisha K is my middle initial, O apostrophe, right, Claire? O apostrophe capital Mally for that Irish in me. You can also hit me up through email at my first name dot my last name at gmail.com. So aisha.omally@gmail.com. And you'll start to see me. I'm going to start building up my social media presence. It's just hard when I teach 4 classes and I'm trying to change the world. But guess what, folks? One by one IG live at a time, we're going to make this work. We're going to make this place a beautiful freaking place. Honey, it's going to be amazing.
Yes. Oh my God, Aisha, thank you so much. I know you squeezed this in between celebrations and work and everything else, but it's just been such a blessing to have you on, and also to be able to have this on record forever. I'm just so I'm so excited for you to get your voice out there. Your stories, they're just so freaking awesome and inspiring. So thank you again for your time, and enjoy the rest of your celebratory day.
I will, honey. Thank you so much. I love you, Tosca. Thanks everybody for joining and sticking around and listening to me on my soapbox. Have a wonderful day, guys.
Ciao for now.
Bye.
Bye.